The global news cycle can feel, honestly, totally chaotic on any given day. But today, we're cutting right through all that noise. In this explainer, we're going to take today's biggest, most intense headlines and distill them into a clear, structured journey. Let's get you perfectly informed.
So here is our roadmap. We've got global security and drone conflicts up first, then some incredible triumphs in cave survival, followed by a look at recent setbacks in space exploration, and we'll wrap up with culture, tradition, and human triumphs. Let's jump right in.
Starting off with global security and drone conflicts, specifically looking at the recent Russia-Romania incident.
Right now, a major cross-border incident has international watchdogs absolutely on high alert. A Russian drone actually hit a residential block in Romania. But the context here is absolutely crucial. According to Romania's defense ministry, the drone's trajectory was very likely altered after it was intercepted by Ukrainian air defenses. It's just a really stark reminder of how defensive measures in one country's airspace can have immediate physical consequences right across a neighboring border.
And as you'd expect, the international response was swift. The official statement reads, NATO and EU condemn Russia after drone hits Romanian residential block. It just goes to show how quickly rogue debris can trigger these formal diplomatic channels and bring out coordinated statements from massive alliances. Okay, moving on to our second topic, triumphs in cave survival, bringing us a story of hope out of Laos. 9. I really want you to think about that number for a second. For 9 agonizing days, a group of men were completely cut off from the outside world, stranded deep in a flooded cavern. Just imagine the pitch black, the rising water, and the sheer psychological endurance it takes to survive for over a week in conditions like that. That single digit, it carries a massive amount of weight.
But finally, we have a breakthrough. 1. The very first of the 5 men found alive has officially been led to safety by rescuers. He emerged bedraggled but alive, and this extraction is just a monumental logistical victory. It's a huge beacon of hope for the remaining 4 guys still down there.
From deep underground, let's look up. Section 3 is all about setbacks in space exploration, specifically the Blue Origin explosion.
So, Thursday night at Cape Canaveral, a Blue Origin New Glenn rocket exploded right on the launch pad during a test. And listen, this wasn't just some fiery spectacle. This represents a highly expensive, massive hurdle for the aerospace industry. When hardware of this scale fails catastrophically before even leaving the pad, it literally sends shockwaves through the entire sector. Which naturally begs a much larger question, right? What does this mean for NASA's moon mission? We kind of have to zoom out here. Space exploration today is this incredibly interconnected web of public agencies and private contractors. So, a setback for Blue Origin, that threatens to delay major international goals. BBC science correspondent Paul Ghosh cuts right to the chase on this one. He states perfectly that the explosion of the Blue Origin rocket is a setback for the company and for NASA's moon plans. NASA relies super heavily on these private companies to keep their Artemis lunar timeline on track. So, a lost rocket means crucial time and resources just burned up. Bringing things back down to earth, our final section is on culture, tradition, and triumphs, and how we're navigating changing eras. Let's look at a really fascinating collision of eras. For over 100 years, Mumbai's famed dabbawalas have been this intricate logistical marvel, delivering literally millions of hot, home-cooked meals to office workers every single day. It's amazing. But this century-old tradition is now rapidly disappearing. It's facing huge threats from the modern surge in remote work and just crippling rising costs. It's a pretty stark reality of how long-standing cultural staples are struggling to survive rapid modern shifts.
But then, in a totally different arena, we are seeing modern, extreme cognitive skill on full display. Get this. The 2026 Scripps National Spelling Bee champion is 14-year-old Shrey Parikh from California. This kid correctly spelled 32 incredibly difficult words and clinched the title in a blistering 90-second lightning round tiebreaker. 90 seconds. It is just a spectacular demonstration of handling pressure and sheer dedication.
So, as we wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with a final thought to chew on. How do we balance preserving century-old cultural traditions with celebrating these spectacular new forms of extreme human skill? I mean, as our world shifts so rapidly, from complex border conflicts to space races and changing daily habits, what human endeavors will we choose to value the most? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.